What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of, you guessed it, Chiefs Chat, okay? Today we're going to be talking about the Week 1 preseason matchup that we had against the New Orleans Saints, okay? Pretty big game. First game of the season for the Chiefs, technically, even though it didn't count, preseason game. We all know how this works, okay? But it was just fun to see our guys suit up, getting ready for this new season. It was just fun to see that. It's great to see some new off-season acquisitions get on the field. Good to see them in the red and gold. I mean, come on. It's great to see these guys suit up for the Chiefs. And, it was an overall fun game to watch. Just a great, fun viewing experience for any Chiefs fan. I mean, come on. The Chiefs are back, baby. I mean, let's go. But there's a lot to talk about, okay? This game, quite eventful. I will say that, okay? A lot happened. First of all, we had the first team offense on the field for a couple of drives. We had the first team defense on the field for a couple of drives. So that's something we need to break down. And again, man, whole lot of young players that we need to talk about here on the Chiefs roster. A lot of players fighting for spots on the Chiefs football team, okay? And there were a couple of players, I will say, a few that I certainly did not expect to make these big plays, but they certainly put their name on the map with these plays. So we're going to get into it. But first, I think I want to address something that I think a lot of Chiefs fans are concerned about. Okay, need I remind you guys, this is preseason football. I think a lot of people looked at the way that our first team offense played, and our first team defense for that matter, and they're feeling a bit concerned, and to that I'd say, this is the preseason, like I said. The first team offense didn't score. First team defense allowed 2 touchdowns, both from Derek Carr and Jameis Winston, okay? Wasn't good. Didn't look very pretty. But what I think was going on, and what I could tell right off the bat, was that, Andy Reid, what I think our coaching staff, and I'm pretty sure, other teams like to do this as well, but what the Chiefs coaching staff really, what they like to do, and I think what a lot of people don't understand, is that their goal isn't to score points. Their goal isn't to get yards, get first downs. Their goal is to try out, different packages, different, personnel on that first team offense that they hadn't previously tried out. Just things that are new to the offense, things that are different, and just doing things that they feel as if, they're really what this is. And this is a big, important point that I think needs to be made. What we are putting out here on the field during this, during these 3 games that we get during the preseason, these are plays, they're reps, they are, packages, personnel that teams, when we face against in the regular season, are going to look at and they're going to say, okay, this is what the Chiefs are going to be this year. This is what they're looking like this year. And I think it would be smart, frankly, I think it would be a smart move for us to kind of throw those guys off. I mean, come on. We don't want to give away our whole plan, frankly. So what I could tell right off the bat, we had Clyde in there as our first team running back, and I think that's fine. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's serviceable. He's done it for us, for a couple of years now. I think once Isaiah Pacheco gets up to 100%, that might change. But Clyde was in there, first team running back, and what I saw right off the bat, we were deliberately getting him the ball. I mean, he touched the ball 3 times. Back to back, right there. We were deliberately making sure that he got the football. And I think what that was, hey, we're telling Clyde, we're like, you know what, you're kind of on the hot seat right now. I mean, is he not? Clyde Edwards-Helaire is kind of a guy who, we drafted him in the first round, and he hasn't necessarily lived up to that first round, caliber player that we all kind of hoped he would be. And so this is a high pressure moment for Clyde Edwards-Helaire, high pressure season. He's had a few media interviews where people have asked him, hey man, how are you feeling about this upcoming season, knowing that he's going to be under a lot of pressure. And he's just kind of said, got the best, I have the team's best interest in mind, which I think is a great mentality to have for Clyde. But let's not fool ourselves. Clyde is under a lot of pressure. He is a guy who the coaching staff, they're looking at to see if he can make an impact. A lot of people, well, maybe not a lot of people, but some people have stated that there's a shot that Clyde doesn't make the roster. I mean, that would come as a shock to me. But some people are saying it might happen. So I think Clyde is a guy who, without a doubt, we were deliberately getting the ball in his hands to see what he could do with it. Unfortunately, it didn't go too well for him, and that does worry me a little bit about Clyde. After seeing that drive, not worried about the first team offense whatsoever. And first of all, let's just, I think we can all agree that Patrick Mahomes on any given regular season game, especially playoff game, would have gotten that first down, that he ran for. I think it was like a 3rd and 5 or something like that. He ran for it, didn't get the first down because he slid, which is, oh my gosh, that's smart quarterback, smart guy. You don't want to risk anything in a preseason game. But unfortunately, it did result in us not getting that first down, And then on 4th and 1, we did decide to go for it. Couldn't get it done. And that's just something we need to work on as a team, as a unit, And again, my hope is that, it was just a personnel thing. We're trying to see what works, but, that's a little something that I do worry about with the first team offense, because we weren't able to do it at all last season. I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong about this, someone correct me, but I'm pretty sure that we were better on 3rd and long than we were on 3rd and short. And I'm talking like 3rd and 1 compared to like 3rd and 15. I'm pretty sure, again, I could be wrong. I know that at the very least it's real close. I'm pretty sure we converted like less than half of our 3rd and 1 attempts. It was just a complete flaw in our offense. I will say that. Probably the worst part of our offense is these short yardage situations. And so 4th and 1 came and weren't able to convert that. That's a little concerning, disappointing. But again, first preseason game of the season. We're just trying to get our just trying to get a little warmed up here. I'm not gonna flip out too much about it. It is what it is for our first team offense. And again, like I said, Pat Mahomes, he's picking up that first down 9 times out of 10 in a regular season game. In a playoff game, he's gonna dive. In a playoff game, maybe not in a regular season game, but in a regular season game, he probably would have taken a hit a little bit, but he would have gotten that first down. But that's just kind of how it went for the first team offense. And first team defense, they also struggled. I saw Trent McDuffie, unfortunately, he didn't have a great game, not at all. But man, he's getting the reps in, and he's just a guy who I want to see on the field for a full season. Traded up to get him last year in the first round of the draft, and he's a special talent. We all know that. You don't trade up for a player in the first round if he's not going to, just make an impact with his athleticism. But unfortunately, he did deal with a lot of injuries last season. I just want to see him on the field consistently. He's going to have a couple of bad reps. He hasn't really played consistently since he was in college because of that unfortunate injury that he suffered. So he's a guy, I just want to see him on the field. I want to see him get more reps, frankly. And I'm not going to flip out. I'm not going to stress out too much if there's a couple of bad reps and he gives up a touchdown or two in the preseason, And mistakes that happen in the preseason, they're more of a benefit than they are not. You know what I mean? They help us more than they hurt us, I think. Because you've got footage right there. You make a mistake in the preseason, you've got clear footage of what you did wrong and what you need to improve, and you've got time to fix it. That was just the first game. That was the first game of the preseason. We've still got a month left until we see a regular season football game. Well, at this point, 2 or 3 weeks. But at that point, you can look at the mistakes you made and you have a whole month to fix that. So I think that's a good thing for Trent McDuffie and for a lot of the players on the first team defense. Didn't look pretty, I'll tell you that. Did not look great. But we are missing guys like Chris Jones and, an interesting personnel that I saw there, on the field. Of course, Brian Cook is out there. You've got Jalen Watson. You've got L'Jarius Sneed, who he didn't have a great, he had a couple of bad reps as well. But that's L'Jarius Sneed. He's a proven guy. I'm not worried about him. But interesting personnel. We had 2 linebackers in most of the time, and I think Drew Tranquil, Leo Chanel was our guy for a lot of those reps. And I think the reason for that is, Leo Chanel, he's been in this defense. This is his 2nd year now. And Drew Tranquil, I don't know if you guys remember the offseason acquisition we got him from the Chargers. I believe that this isn't, I'm not trying to take a shot at Leo Chanel. He hasn't really had many reps. But I believe that Drew Tranquil is a more proven player, better player, and I think eventually he will. When we're talking first team defense, Drew Tranquil's in there over Leo Chanel. So I think the reason he wasn't on there with the first team is because, he's trying to learn the defense, So we saw him a lot running with the second team defense, and so it was good to see him on the field. He had a couple of great plays. But yeah, that was something I noticed, and just poor performance if we're looking at it based on obviously we gave up points, gave up a good amount of points, gave up a good amount of yards. It just wasn't great. But we've got two more we got two more preseason games, getting ready for the regular season. Not worried. There's a couple of little things. Like I said, Clyde probably taking some pretty important snaps here in the preseason, and just a couple of other things. One thing I do want to notice, Rashee Rice, I like to see him. He was running with the ones, which is good. I like to see that. It means he's picking up this offense well, and it means that I think what it means is that Kadarius Toney, obviously he will be back week 1, or he's supposed to be. So we'll see what happens there with Rashee Rice. We'll see if he still sticks with that first team. I think it's definitely at the very least showing us that he's capable of being in there. So that's good. That's just great to see. Come on, Rashee Rice, great play. But moving on, man, I want to talk about some players on the second team, some undrafted players who made just a great impact on this game. Some players that I was looking at going into this game, looking to see what they could do. And there were a couple of players. B.J. Thompson was a guy who I was looking at. I liked seeing him on the field. He definitely flashed his athleticism, which is good to see. I think he had a couple of penalties too, but so that's and penalties. That's another thing. Those are things that it's just you just made a mistake. That's something you could just look at on film and be like, gotta fix that. But B.J. Thompson, I like seeing him out there. And then another play on defense. Give me a second, okay. Again, these are players I've never heard of these guys. I'm a Chiefs fan. Been a Chiefs fan my entire life. I'll tell you that right now. But there are some players on this football team. Don't know who this guy is. I'll tell you that right now. My assumption is that he is an undrafted free agent, and his name is Khalif Haliassi. I could be pronouncing that wrong. I almost most definitely am. But I don't know if you guys remember this sick play, probably the play of the game. On both sides. Okay. Number 12 for the Chiefs. I'm not talking about Shane. I'm not talking about Shane Buechele. I'm talking about defense number 12, Khalif Haliassi. I almost definitely saying that wrong. But what an interception he had. Let's roll a clip. Let's take a look at this pick. Just unbelievable. This guy's a player. And I don't know where he ranks among our young corners, but this is at the very least going to be a really, really nice play for him to be able to have on tape, just a highlight reel, just a highlight level play. Okay, that's great. That's great. That's an ESPN top 10 level play. Come on. And that is something, man. Teams are going to look at, they're going to be like, this guy, what an athlete like that. What a great play. Just a capable athlete on a football field. And that's what you want to see out of a cornerback. Just a guy who can go up and make plays. It's the hardest position in the NFL, being a cornerback. But when you got a guy on your team that can do stuff like that, that's just incredible. But again, when we're talking about the Chiefs, it'll be interesting to see what we do with him. Hopefully we bring him back on the practice squad, because he's honestly, based on that play alone, he's a guy, I don't want to get rid of this guy. I want to make sure he stays within the organization. So hopefully he's a guy that we bring back to the practice squad. Maybe he can make a run on our team next season, because it's honestly a mess. It's honestly a mess how many young cornerbacks we've got, fighting for the roster spot. We've just got a plethora of guys. We've drafted quite a few in the past couple of years. And then, of course, we've got a couple of veterans sprinkled in there. So just a lot going on there. But, hey, what a nice play for that guy. What a great play. Another player who I was really, really impressed by, okay, Nico Remigio, number 27 wide receiver for the Chiefs. He and Chris, I'm almost definitely pronouncing this wrong, Chris Oladokun, number 6, if you guys remembered, our fourth string quarterback, I believe. He was the fourth one who played, so I would assume that means he's fourth string. But him and Nico, man, they had a nice connection. I thought it was pretty good. And he was making some great plays. He had quite a few yards, quite a few receptions, and I was liking what he was doing. But then again, that's another situation where it's like, man, we're so crowded at that wide receiver spot. Don't know if he makes the roster, but he's a guy, hopefully, based on his performance, we can bring him back. Boom, come on. Be a practice squad guy. Help us out. And yeah, man, let's not forget, man, we had some nice plays by our guys. Come on. Rashee Rice, what a game he had a couple of nice catches, a good amount of yards. And Richie James, hey, this guy, Richie James, he's going to be a nice addition for this Chiefs offense. Definitely a guy who, I mean, he solidified himself as a good roster spot on our team. I mean, come on, he's almost 100% going to be our third, fourth, maybe even second. I don't know how this is going to work. I mean, maybe our second string wide receiver. A proven guy, veteran, coming over to help this Chiefs team out. And I'm pretty excited about what he can do based on his performance in this game. I mean, he did pretty good. I liked the way he was playing. And then, hey, come on. Justin Ross, the guy who we've been hyping up, man, for a couple of seasons now. Boom! What a touchdown! What a play, man! I just like the way this guy. I just like the way this guy plays football. Come on, it's nice seeing him on the field. I mean, first, it's just nice seeing that number 8 just suit up. Because I just feel like all the pictures we've seen of him in the Chiefs uniform has just been practice squad uniforms and training camp uniforms. He's suited up. Full uniform, it's beautiful to see, considering everything he's been through, just battling through a lot of tough injuries, and boom, he's on the field, and he catches a touchdown pass. I mean, come on, it doesn't get more storybook than that. Just a great play by Justin Ross, and this is where it gets tough, man. I don't know what Andy Reid is going to do with all of these wide receivers, just off the top of my head, Again, this is an important thing that everybody should know. Andy Reid, he started, he was the Chiefs head coach. He's been the Chiefs head coach since 2013. Andy Reid has coached this team this is his 10th season, I believe. I could be wrong about that, but, quite a few seasons. Never on our roster, in every single year that Andy Reid has been our coach, we have never ran with more than 6 wide receivers on the roster at one time. And just off the top of my head, I'm trying to find a spot that Justin Ross fits in. Okay, I'm trying to see if he squeaks into that 6 exclusive 6 wide receiver group. And I'm just having a hard time, man. Okay, you got MVS. He's going to make the roster, of course. Richie James had a couple of great plays. He's definitely making it. Sky Moore's making it. You got Kadarius Toney. How could I forget? And then there are just a group of fringe players. Of course, you got Rashee Rice, and then you've got Justin Watson, who was on our roster last season, had a couple of nice plays, and that's 6 right there. And so I'm thinking, I mean, is there room for Justin Ross? Is he going to be able to make this roster? Who are we going to have to drop to have him squeeze in there? Or is Andy Reid going to run 7 wide receivers? That would be interesting. I'm excited to find out. It's tough out there. Let's not forget, okay, Nico Remigio. I mean, I was just talking about this guy. He's also in there. He's also a great wide receiver who's doing some great things for us. I mean, it's tough. It's tough. We got a lot of really good, valuable players right there for the wide receiver position. So it's going to be a tough battle, I'll tell you that. But yeah, that's about all I got to say about the first game. Technically the first game that the Chiefs have played here in this 2023 NFL season. Super excited to see what happens in the other 2 preseason games coming up. Okay, that's all I got. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next Chiefs chat. Peace out.